Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we will create a bassline, a full-on bassline with PhasePlant because PhasePlant is an amazing synth. So let's get started right away. Open PhasePlant and then click on this empty space and create a wavetable. As soon as you have done this, click on this icon here, which opens the wavetable editor. Then click File, New. Select everything so that you see dashed lines. This will then give you a free sawtooth when you click on the waveform curve drawing. If we hadn't done that, we would have gotten the triangle. Then switch to direct harmonic editing and remove the fundamental. We will provide the fundamental with a separate sine wave. Then go up here to the wavetable section and drag it out to the last frame and make sure you see the dashed line, because when you're up here, you will just select a different frame, which is not what we want. We want to copy the first frame into all the other frames. So select the last one and then click on Done. Okay, now go to Effects and Disperse. This effect is derived from or works in a similar way as the plugin, which has the same name, Disperser. The difference is that we can use that phase dispersion and render it directly into a wavetable. And okay, so select the first frame and enter the minimum amount that you want. For me, that is 15%. I will probably never go below 15% dispersion in my basslines. So this is my minimum. And then the end 50% is probably more than I'll ever use, but it's fine for now. So leave it at like it is. And then we're done with that, and we can close this window. And now we can scan through our frames, and we can see that we can dial in as much phase rotation as we want. Let me check real quick. Yeah, I just forgot whether I did what I intended. Removing the fundamental. I did. Okay. Now let's add the fundamental by adding an analog generator. Select sine and rotate it to negative 180 degrees, because that's the phase the fundamental in the sawtooth would have. And then I want to map this to a macro so that I can control the fundamental whenever I want to create variations. So this is fund phase. Okay, and let's map the first macro to the frame. So this is wavetable position. And now we can control everything from here. Okay, well, the level is way too high, and well, let's turn that down to 0. And add a velocity here, and we use this velocity to control the amplitude, modulate it whatever you want. I think 50% are ideal. I, of course, experimented with it before. And now we can use the velocity to control the volume of the fundamental. This is especially useful when we have bass notes which overlap with the kick drum, which will always be the first one if you have the 16th note bassline. And you can see I already reduced the velocity of every first note, so we don't have any fundamental in there. That will be provided by the kick. So now we have to send it into a filter. Filter, you can use the nonlinear filter. The difference is that the nonlinear filter has a distortion to choose from. Usually don't use filter distortion, so I'll take this one. Q to 0, slope to 2, cutoff. Yeah, this sounds about right. Now add a curve, which is an MSEG. Basically, and turn it into something like this. So basically this curve here will serve as an envelope, and this here just controls the attack phase or the clickiness of the baseline, of the transient. Okay, close window. Change that to sync and 1/16, and then map it to the cut. Okay, better listen to it in context. Okay, now we will have to listen to it in context, of course. But that's already the fundamental structure. Maybe attack to 0 to really start off with the clickiest sound possible. This one, the release down to something above 2 milliseconds to avoid clicks. It might be a bit too clicky, but sometimes I think it makes more sense, or it just sounds better when I remove the clickiness with an equalizer rather than with the filter or the amp envelope attack. I don't know why. It's just something I experienced. Now we need a sidechain, of course. And then let's add an equalizer. Need it sooner or later. Okay, now let's listen to it in context. Okay. Yeah, shape it until you're happy with what you hear, and then yeah, maybe I want to add some distortion, so get an over. My favorite clip distortion. Yeah. So usually I turn on delta, solo, and then doesn't do much, but it also gives us some more headroom. at least as far as peak is concerned. Yeah, I think this sounds already quite decent. Okay, let's try a different bassline. Something more full-on-ish. Or just simple. Okay, let's look at the phase real quick. I think it should be fine. Okay, kick drum, bassline. And remember, we already removed the fundamentals, so we do not expect to have severe conflicts. And on top of that, we also added sidechain. Now, the cool thing about this here oscilloscope is that you have not 2, but 3 different modes. So we can overlay it and then see how that looks like. But the most important is we can look at the sum. And this is actually the most important. I mean, it's okay to phase align stuff, but you always have to be aware that whatever you do, it has consequences. If you phase align kick and bass, then you might have quite extreme volume peaks, like around here, because well, whatever you combine, it just gets added. Okay, let's just have a look at the sum. Okay, it does not align perfectly, but this is more or less fine, right? Because it's music. We add 2 different sounds to each other that will have consequences. You will see peaks and cancellations. Maybe open the kick drum real quick. Oh yeah, way too big. Now on this screen. And well, here I can easily change the phase. And it's often simpler if you have a plugin, of course, to change the phase of the kick, then changing the phase of the bassline once the bassline really sounds the way you want. Yeah, only a tiny little bit, and this looks pretty much perfect. right? Of course, it gets a little bit louder, but yeah, we have the bassline and the kick playing simultaneously, so a little increase in amplitude is expected. This is not the bottleneck. This, what you see here, is not what is preventing you from playing at big festivals, believe me. Okay, I think that's it already. I think PhasePlant is a wonderful synth, and yeah, it can create really clicky and tight bass lines. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and I see you next time.